Sadnam, neo-natives. It's been about a month and a half since I finished writing my first novel. Look at this thing. It's massive. I started writing this when I was 16 years old, and now it's finally finished. It's the first volume in a trilogy. It's really surreal, actually, to be like holding this and having the manuscript done and being in the process of getting it published. Because in the process, this manuscript has been lost and found and reclaimed, and it's crazy manifestation story. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. So I started writing this when I was in high school. I was about 16 years old. And over the course of a few years, I had about 160 pages typed out of the entire story. And when I was on my travels, I was traveling around in my car first, and then in a van, and all up and down California and Oregon and Washington. I ended up losing all of my possessions a couple times. And one of the things that I lost was I lost my laptop, and I lost my manuscript. All of my work on this book completely. I didn't have a copy of it, no digital copy, no paper copy, anything. But after that, there wasn't a day that went by where I didn't have this drive and intention of wanting to finish this story, but wanting to have the original manuscript back if it existed somewhere out in the ether. So I thought about it every day since I lost it. I thought about the story and the manuscript, and I just put out this intention into the universe that if there was a copy somewhere that somebody had or existed somewhere, just bring it back to me. So it was about 7 years later, like 6 or 7 years later, it was last summer I got a Facebook message from this woman that I knew back in film school, who I was friends with back in film school. And she sent me a picture of the manuscript, and she's like, "Look what I found." I was like, holy fuck. 7 years later, after putting the intention out into the universe to bring this manuscript back to me, it finally had manifested, right? Like, holy shit. I was like, send that shit to me. Overnight FedEx that shit to me. So I finally got it back, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I had it in my hands, and I was like, after all this time. And I was like, if this isn't a sign from the universe that I'm supposed to finish writing these books, I don't know what is. Like, and now the first volume is completed, it's finished. And it's wild because I feel like, even though it's only been a month and a half since I finished writing it, it feels like so much longer, but also so much shorter. And at the same time, it feels like it's always existed. I feel all of them at the same time. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, but also my process of creativity and of writing and just creating art, and how it relates to the Akashic Record. Because the way that you know, everything that exists in the Akashic Record in vibrational form. So everything that's associated with your current incarnation or any other incarnation that you've had or will have, even though time is only now and all happening simultaneously, there's no past, present, or future. There's just an eternal now moment. So anything that you do or create in an incarnation is part of that incarnational imprint in the Akashic Record and exists there, always exists there, and you can access that through meditation or whatever your method is, in order to uplink to that information and vibrational data, if you will. So I actually developed a meditation technique in order to connect to that your specific imprint in the Akashic Record, in order to access things that you will create and bring it into the present moment. I call the technique stealing from yourself. And I'll share that in another video with you guys. Also, so when I create anything, whether it be music or writing short stories, books, anything that I'm going to create, it's already part of my incarnational imprint in the Akashic Record. So all I have to do is connect to that data, and since everything exists simultaneously, if that book that you're going to write, or painting that you're going to paint, or album that you're going to, record, if you're going to create that, it already exists in vibrational form in the Akashic Record. So if you connect to that, so it's like a form of time travel, even though time doesn't exist, but you're seeing into the future, like this book, right? Like the finished version of this book exists in the Akashic Record already. So all I have to do is uplink to that and download the final form and type it out. And that's how what I use to do my creative process. Same with my music. Like I'll meditate, and even sometimes I'll like project myself into the future, even though, like I said, there's no time, and I'll see myself on stage performing a song that I haven't written yet. And I'll hear it, and I'll bring it back into the present and write it and record it, So it's funny. So, everything that has happened, is happening, and will happen has already happened. It's already happened. So if whatever you want to describe that as fate or destiny or whatever. But the thing is that destiny and free will exists as a paradox. So all of these things that have already happened and will happen, it already exists in vibrational form in the Akashic Record. But all of those things are only set in motion because of your free will, because of your free choice. Don't try to understand that. You can't understand that in your rational mind. So if that thing that you are going to create, you uplink to the Akashic Record and you see that thing that you're going to create as fully manifested and realized, right? And in that moment, you realize that you've already chosen with your free will in order to create that thing. And that's what set it in motion. But it was already there, so don't try to understand that at all. But that's how it's so wonderful and amazing, I think, because it's like, and I see, I can see the whole story of the 3 books in this trilogy. I see it as a movie in the Akashic field, in the Akashic Record. I see the movie, and I also see the manifested, completely realized books. I visualize them, I see them, I'm in my visualization, I'm flipping through them, back cover, front cover, everything, and realizing that it's already done, it's already created, you know, but you have used your free will in order to choose to create that, and that's what set it in motion and brings it into full manifestation. Satnam, Neo Natives.